To create interior elevations, we first need to place an interior elevation symbol. What I'd like to do is, while we're in our first floor view, which if you're not already in the first floor view, you can go to your project browser, and then underneath Floor Plans, ID Floor Plan, go to First Floor. Just spin the wheel of your mouse, and then zoom in to where we have our kitchen area. And what I'd like to do is create a interior elevation view that shows both the north and the south side so that we can see the cabinets on both sides. To place it, we need to come up here to the View tab on the ribbon, then go over here to Elevation, then just click on Elevation. Move your cursor down, and one of the things you'll see then will be your elevation symbol. If we take a look underneath Properties, we can see that what we're actually placing right now is called Building Elevation. Typically, a building elevation will be on the outside of a building, so I'd really like to have an interior elevation for the inside of the building. So to accomplish that, I'll just come over here to Edit Type, come up to Duplicate, and rename Building Elevation 2 to be Interior Elevation. Then click on OK. Now, before I get out of this dialog box altogether, I will point out that this is also the area where you can change the way that your elevation tag and the callout tag look like. The elevation tag would be the circular shape that you'll see when we place this elevation tag in. The callout tag will be the arrow that shows up on the outside. But I like the way that it looks currently, so I'll come in here and just click on OK. You'll notice here underneath Properties, we now have Elevation Interior Elevation. And that's how it will be indicated underneath our project browser after this elevation symbol has been placed. Come in here, and then once you see the arrow pointing down or pointing to the south, click once. Then hit the Escape key twice on the keyboard just to make sure that you're out of the command. Next, select on the circular part of the elevation tag. Now what I'd like to do is put a check mark on the box which is on the north side of this elevation. Click out here. Now we have two different elevations, one for the north and one for the south. I also want to mention that if we select where we have the arrow, this black arrow right here, you'll get this blue line along with a dash. Now, what happens is that everything above this blue line and then below where the dash is at is what will show up inside of our elevation. And right now, this elevation is going across the entire room, not just the kitchen area. So what I'd like to do is come over here to the blue dot, hold the mouse button down, and then drag that blue dot over until we basically just have the kitchen area inside of this box. Do the same thing over on the right side. Click. Hold your mouse button down on the dot. Drag it over. Click on these double arrows. And we want to pull this box in. What we're doing is we're removing this far wall from being inside of our elevation view. Pull it back. Now we need to do the same thing on the other side, on the south side. So you may need to zoom in order to be able to select on this arrow. Zoom out. Click, hold the mouse button down on the dot. Drag it in. Do the same thing on the other side. Drag it in. Click on the arrows. Pull them back. What I'd like to do now is come over to the project browser and take a look at those views that we created. You can now see if we scroll down that we have an option here for elevations, interior elevation. If we click on the little plus sign, we can see that one's called 1-A, the other is 1-C. I'm not exactly sure which side is which. I think that 1-C is to the south, but I could be wrong. So what we'll do is we'll just click here where we have the elevation 1-A. You may need to double click on it, and we can take a look at what it is that we have. Okay, This is what the elevation looks like. And I'm seeing something here which looks like it could be a window. I'm not completely sure. But if these are windows, that would be an indicator that we're probably looking out of the building, which means this is actually the south elevation. Next, I'm going to come over here to the 1-C, double click on that. I'm certainly not seeing any windows on this elevation, which is telling me that this is the north elevation. So now underneath the project browser, I'm going to right click on the 1-C. I'm going to rename it. This will be elevation north. Or I could do kitchen north or whatever it is that makes sense. But I'll just call it elevation north for now. And click on OK. Go to my 1-A, which is to the south side of the building. So I'll right click on it, go to rename. Name it elevation south. So now we have elevation north and elevation south, both underneath the category of elevations, interior elevation.